Don Henke was like, we'll take it, because he wants to be in bed and in business with Donald Trump. And we have, for the first time in our entire political life of 270 years, a president who is for sale, a presidential candidate who is for sale, who's put himself up for the highest bidder, who's told the world that he's financially compromised, that's willing to sell bits of himself on an open market called NASDAQ with stock that has his initials on it. You want to buy a presidential candidate? You can. DJT is the stock initials. And here, every time he's in trouble or financially compromised, which means he's compromised from a national security standpoint. And this is why you don't usually put somebody in a position of authority who's a bankrupt, who has credit problems, because they could succumb to bribery or become a foreign asset, right? This is the problem. And so Donald Trump needed the money at this point. He's on bended knee or bended something. And he got Don Henke, the king of the subprime mortgage, who only gives loans to people with no or low credit, sounds like a commercial, to give him the money. But there's something in return. There is a quid pro quo. We know what the quid is. We just don't know what the quo is yet, but we will. But it's just another example of Donald Trump having to auction himself off and get that bond posted. Now, what that means is that while the bond is in place, but there's a defect in it, while the bond is in place, and now that it is in place, Letitia James has to stop all of her collection activity on the $465 million judgment. Let me tell you what it doesn't mean, because I've seen it in the chat. It doesn't mean that interest is not still running on the full 465. It is. And it doesn't mean that somehow she has to just accept the $175 million if she wins and he defaults. It doesn't. It's just the undertaking or placeholder that the appellate court has allowed him to put in it to stop enforcement proceedings during the pendency of the appeal, which will be fully briefed over the summer with an oral argument in September. So that's what we had. But Karen, did you see that